I had a marketing guy get a hold of me the other day. He goes, how in the world do you stay at the top of the list with your book never finished and you don't do any marketing? I go, it's easy. It's because of all you out there who are trying to get better, who are looking for more, who on January 1, 2023, don't give it's just a Sunday to you. It's for you all out there who are starting that new movement, that new woke movement, who are waking up tired of being who are waking up tired of being afraid, who are waking up tired of being a victim. Those of you out there who aren't half-stepping, I appreciate you all. Stay hard.
Don't follow the crowd. It is an important time of your life. This time was the most volatile time of my life. When I was a teenager, man, you think when you're a teenager that is life. Like that, those kids, those people you're around, everything there is your whole entire life. That if you're cool, you gotta fit in, all these things have to happen now in this high school time of life. You're so far from the truth by thinking that, you won't hardly even see these people again. This is a great time for you now to start callousing your mind and figuring out what you want to do with your life. Start to develop your own personality, your dreams, your values, what you want to stand for, standing for yourself, having a moral compass, and big time not following the crowd. But one thing about high school and being a teenager, that is a snapshot of life. But for some reason, when you're a teenager, you believe that these people are going to follow you till you're dead, and they're just your whole life. So understand this, man. I'm 43. I've probably seen 2 people from high school, and that's not on purpose. It's just what it is. Back in the days, it was for the mere fact of I had a lot of motivation, a lot of drive, and a lot of it was just me changing who I was. Now how I stay motivated is I travel around the country and I speak to people, young kids, older people, black, white, from all different races, colors, genders, religions, everything. And my message is always about can't hurt me. Can't hurt me is just about staying true to who you are, staying real. There's so many people that do what I do who are inspirational speakers, motivational speakers, whatever. You put yourself out there like this to be the ultimate leader. People are trying to see what you're talking about and live off of your example. What motivates me now, what keeps me going up every day is people who listen to me, people who follow me, people who trust in me, people who want to be better. I have to live by example. So when it's miserable outside, when I don't want to study, when I don't want to even clean my house, make my bed, I will be a liar like I used to be if I'm telling you something that I'm not doing every single day of my life. I have to live by example. I have to live my life. So I couldn't talk to you all today if I didn't have these here following my run. If I didn't run before I talked to you all, I wouldn't have the motivation or the courage to talk to you all, because I would be right now false. I would be lying. So what motivates me now is knowing that I live what I talk about, and that's what it is now. I want to practice what I preach. That's my motivation now.
So when you come from where I came from, there's a lot of power. So the power comes from when you think that, my God, everybody's above you. And then you put, for instance, I talk about the Navy SEALs in my book. I put every Navy SEAL on a pedestal.
It's easy to do.
It's easy to do. You read the books about them, you see movies about them, superhuman. But what happens is, once you drop your own limitations, so one thing we do bad in life is we put all these people above you. Never put anybody above you, man. Make it an even playing field. But you can't make it an even playing field if you're not working your ass off. I'm not saying not to respect people. You gotta respect people. But if you're playing tennis, right now there's tennis going on here in Queens. If you're playing tennis and you're playing Roger Federer, even Roger Federer's not here right now, but let's say you're playing Roger, best ever, arguably best ever. But I'm good at tennis. But Roger's the best ever. And we're playing a 5-set match, Grand Slam. Before Roger serves the ball, the first serve of the game, first serve, set 1, game 1, first serve. In your mind, you're thinking, man, that's the best person in the world to serve. This is how I thought about Navy SEALs. So what happens is, 2 sets fly by. Roger smokes it 6-0, 6-0, or 6-0, 6-1. You're like, wow, man, I can play with this mother. There's a distinct difference between a champion and someone who's just good. Let's use boxing, for instance. It's a 12-round championship bout. At the 11th round, they both go to the corners. Someone that's good sits there and thinks to himself, I've given everything I have. Hopefully, I can get through the 12th round. A champion, he sits in that corner while all of his people are talking to him. He ain't here. All he's thinking about is, I have to find what I haven't given. It's that mentality that truly separates the champions from the who are just good. Stay hard. So years ago, I was scared to death to fly. So my mentality is this: if you're scared of something, learn about it, figure it out to overcome it. So I went out and got lessons on how to fly. I'm up in the plane with a pilot. We hit some bad turbulence, and I freaked out. And the pilot said, there's one thing you can't ever do up here, and that's forget to fly the plane. In life, it's a true statement. We have hard times, we hit turbulence, we fail, we fall on our ass, we have divorces, we have all kind of that happens. And we sit there and think about that one issue, and it's all we think about. And we forget to fly the plane is us. We forget to focus on everything in life, our habits, our goals, our destination. And we end up failing. So stay hard. We're watching people fail because we're afraid to hurt their feelings. By no means do I condone bullying. I think it's... But I will say one thing. I believe in the truth and telling the truth. A lot of us have loved ones, friends, people we see every day who are gaining weight, getting out of shape, not going to school, being lazy, but we're afraid to tell them the truth. Not being bullies, but afraid to tell them the truth. One thing that changed my life is my grandfather. He told me, you're going nowhere in your life, not being anything. As bad as that hurt me, it got me to pull my head out of my ass. So learn to stay hard, have thick skin, and do what's right. Stay hard. Whenever I'm weak at something, whenever I'm scared of something, I master it. I was a weak-minded person, so I mastered my mind. And in mastering my mind, I mastered the human mind. And I realized why I no longer judge people, why I no longer put people on a pedestal, because we're all our own way. We all have demons. Some people hide them better than other people. So I know we all have them. By me knowing that, I know that most alpha males are very fragile. Very fragile. They never want to see another person harder than them, especially in that kind of realm.
The ego attachment
the ego,
to that is very strong.
Ego will every time. Ego is serious. So if I can hurt your ego, I got you. So by me having such a fragile ego growing up, all this was my advantage. I was doing a live autopsy on how I was. I was like, hey, I bet other people up too. So I started using all these different tools and tactics to get in instructors' heads. And the taking souls, that's where it happened, man. We're Wednesday, freezing cold. Everybody's jackhammering. Everybody wants to, everybody's just wanting to get through it now. And the instructors take great pride in watching you suffer. They do. We, in a sick way, it's kind of funny. You were there once as a student. Now you're an instructor. But I knew, how would I be thinking if I was an instructor? I would love seeing this sadistic go on. But what wouldn't I like to see?
I would hate to see some guys just looking like this is just another day on the beach and go f yourself. One thing I found out was for several years I gave myself a way out.
When you were 300
when I was,
pounds?
When I was 300 pounds and I was, all the way up until I was 24 years old. I would climb a mountain, I'd fall back down. I start climbing, I fall back down for the first 24 years of my life. I went to my first hell week, my second hell week, and then my third hell week came in SEAL training, and the CO, Captain Bowen, looked at me. I'm on crutches, I'm all jacked up. He says, hey, this is your last time you're gonna go through buds. This is it. I had several stress fractures. I had double pneumonia, I was jacked up, and he gave me a few months to heal. And he said, this is your last time going through. I shouldn't even let you go back through it.
Wow.
I started Navy SEAL training with stress fractures. And this is when I started to not put a cap on the body if the mind is there. Every morning I would wake up at 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, go to my dive cage, go in there before anybody saw me. I'd get duct tape, and I would tape from my forefoot all the way up to the mid of my calf, and I would put 2 black socks on. And so I ran not using the pivot, and I ran my hip flexors. So for the first 45 minutes to an hour, I was in absolute excruciating pain. But what motivated me through that whole process was the fact that this kid came from that. I'm in the hardest training in the world, in the worst shape of my entire life. What if I can graduate amongst these studs?
Wow.
All these guys around me are studs. They're stallions, they're gladiators in my class. They're all healthy, most of them. They're not broken like this. They may have some, everybody's sick going through that training. Yeah. But if I can graduate, it would change everything for me. If I can start the hardest training in the world, broken, and graduate. So my mind fed off of that. You are now, from the weakest man, you are now the hardest man to ever live.